So what if I told you there's a plan to build a shield, an AI-powered shield, to protect an entire nation of over 1 billion people from missile attacks? Well, that's not science fiction. That's the whole idea behind India's mission Sudarshan Chakra, and it is easily one of the most ambitious defense projects on the planet. Let's break down what it is, and more importantly, why it's happening right now.
You know, that warning from India's army chief, it isn't just talk. It really paints a picture of the tense geopolitical climate that's driving this entire project. A shield on this scale isn't just seen as some ambitious dream. For the people planning it, it's an absolute necessity.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. We'll look at the new era of warfare that's forcing this change. Then we'll dive into India's big answer, Mission Sudarshan Chakra. We're going to dissect the anatomy of this thing, layer by layer. We'll also get into the strategy behind the shield, and finally talk about the staggering price of security.
So what's the big spark here? What's the catalyst for this whole new way of thinking? Well, the truth is, the nature of conflict in the region has totally changed and is demanding a complete rethink of national defense.
A major turning point was a recent retaliatory strike called Operation Sindoor. Now, during this operation, something new happened. For the very first time, both sides used what are called long-range standoff weapons. This basically means firing incredibly advanced missiles from a safe distance. And that just changed the game entirely.
And look, this escalation is absolutely happening on both sides. India is deploying really sophisticated stuff like the BrahMos and Scalp missiles. At the same time, Pakistan is firing back with its Fateh series and even testing new multi-warhead weapons like the Ababil. What you're seeing is a full-blown missile race, and that is the problem that Mission Sudarshan Chakra is being designed to solve. So, in the face of this new reality, how is India responding? The answer is this huge, comprehensive national security initiative called Mission Sudarshan Chakra.
Okay, so at its very core, Mission Sudarshan Chakra is meant to be a national shield. But it's not just one thing. It's an entire architecture. We're talking layers upon layers of technology, all working together, all powered by AI, and, this is key, developed almost entirely within India.
The whole mission was unveiled on Independence Day, and right away, people started comparing it to Israel's famous Iron Dome. And sure, the basic idea is similar: intercept incoming rockets and missiles. But the scale and the complexity, it's a whole different ballgame. This is being designed for India's massive geography and the specific kinds of threats it faces.
And the name itself is pretty amazing. The Sudarshana Chakra is this divine weapon from Hindu mythology, a spinning discus used by the god Vishnu. The name actually translates to auspicious vision, which is a really powerful way to connect this ultra-modern, high-tech mission to an ancient symbol of ultimate protection. Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work? Let's pop the hood and peel back the layers of the shield. Think of it like we're looking at a 3D blueprint, seeing exactly how all the pieces are supposed to fit together. It's really a series of defensive layers, each with its own job, all working in perfect sync.
So the shield is basically built on 5 main pillars. It all starts with a massive network of eyes, both on the ground and up in space, to spot threats. Then, you've got the interceptors and some seriously futuristic laser weapons to take those threats out. And the final piece? A powerful AI brain that ties it all together, making decisions in the blink of an eye. So layer 1 is all about detection. I want you to picture a web of somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 radars spread all across the country. This network includes special over-the-horizon systems that can actually peer deep into neighboring territories, giving the earliest possible warning of a launch. The goal here is simple: no blind spots.
Now, once a threat is detected, the second layer kicks in, the integrated air defense weapons system. Think of it like a tiered response. First up, long-range missiles go after the threat from way out. If anything slips through that, very short-range systems get their shot. And for the last line of defense, you've got these insane, rapid-fire guns designed to literally shred anything that gets too close.
And this is where it gets into real sci-fi territory. The third layer is all about directed energy weapons. We're talking high-powered lasers that can zap targets at the speed of light. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a technological leap designed to counter ridiculously fast threats, like hypersonic missiles or even drone swarms, instantly. The fourth layer gives you the ultimate high ground. A whole constellation of 52 new surveillance satellites is planned to be in orbit by 2030. This network in space will feed a non-stop stream of real-time data straight into that AI command center, making sure the system sees everything, everywhere, all the time.
All right, so we've seen the how, we've seen the tech. Let's zoom out and talk about the why. What's the grand strategy driving this absolutely monumental effort? Because it's about a lot more than just shooting down missiles.
Fundamentally, this mission is a huge flagship project for India's national policy of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means self-reliant India. The goal is for everything, from the radars and satellites to the AI algorithms, to be designed and built at home. It's as much a statement of technological independence as it is a defense system.
Strategically, the mission has these really clear dual goals. First, it's about creating a powerful deterrent against Pakistan's missile arsenal. Second, it's about building a defensive wall that can handle the more advanced, long-range weapons of China. And the big picture objective is to protect critical infrastructure across the entire nation, not just military bases.
Okay, a project this ambitious, it naturally raises some pretty big questions. Like, how long is this even going to take? What's the true scale of the effort? And, of course, the big one. How much is this all going to cost?
Well, the roadmap is laid out over the next decade or so. Phase 1 is all about getting an initial system up and running, and that's slated for completion by 2030. Phase 2, which is the full nationwide expansion and plugging in all the advanced systems, is targeted for 2035.
And just to really wrap your head around the scale, let's look at the numbers. Remember that ground-based sensor grid we talked about? Well, that means integrating up to 7,000 individual radars. That's a network of a size that's just hard to even imagine. And then you've got the commitment to space. To make sure that view from above is crystal clear, 52 brand new surveillance satellites are set to be launched by 2030. That is a massive, massive investment in space-based intelligence. And finally, the cost. The initial price tag to get this shield fully up and running is estimated to be around $20 billion. That's billion with a B, US dollars. That number alone tells you everything you need to know about how high a priority this mission is. All of this brings us to one last big question. As nations start building these automated, AI-driven shields to protect themselves, we're really walking into a whole new era. So the question we're left with is this. As these incredible systems take more and more control of national defense, what is the new meaning of